Hi everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a great day. In today's video, we're going to go into Riot Blockchain miner count and their earnings potential for their miners, and obviously what the stock price potential is as well. So if we look at Riot's website, Riot Blockchain is a Bitcoin mining company supporting the Bitcoin blockchain through rapidly expanding large-scale mining in the United States. We are focused on expanding our operations by increasing our Bitcoin mining hash rate and infrastructure capacity. Riot believes that the future of Bitcoin mining will benefit from American operations and endeavors to be the driver of that future. So Bitcoin mining for Riot, our mining operations include both Whinstone, U.S. facility in Rockdale, Texas, and our hosted miners at CoinMint LLC, Messina, New York facility. Whinstone US is a wholly owned subsidiary of Riot Blockchain and consists of the single largest Bitcoin mining and hosting facility in North America, as measured by its 300 megawatt in developed capacity. Riot currently has deployed hash rate capacity of 1.6 exahash, utilizing approximately 51 megawatts of energy. So let's take a look at here their stock information. So the stock closed yesterday at 35.26. I'm not sure what the after hours did, but we're going to take a look at it later on. The company, let me see here. So yeah, closed at 32.57. The market cap shows higher than what I'm showing, but it's at 3.5 billion. And let me see here. What else do we want to take a look at? EPS right now is at negative 0.26 cents. And that's basically it for them right now. Let's jump into the charts here. Not the charts, but the data that I was able to pull. So the data took me, oh gosh, I pulled the data over like 5 days, working in the evenings after work, trying to get all the data from their SEC filings and try to get it as accurate as I could. I think this is the most recent and most up-to-date information that I have on them. I went through all of the SEC filings and looked for miners that were installed or removed or anything like that. So that went all the way back to September 17th of 2017. But first, let's take a look at some information on how I use this stuff to calculate what their mining potential is, or what their earnings potential is. So I use the Bitcoin network hash rate, which is here. It's at 119 million for the hash rate. The BTC block reward per day is 6.25, and the BTC reward per day is 900, which then allowed me to figure out what their earning potential is based on that information and what the current price of Bitcoin is. So last night when I was finishing this up, the price of Bitcoin was at $48,491.49. So in September of 2017, they announced that they bought another company that had the following miners. They had 500 of the Litecoin miners. So Litecoin obviously can mine both Litecoin and Dogecoin, so that's why I put down here the two 500 miners here, so I could get pricing on both. They also reported that they had BTC miners, which I believe were the S9s or the S7s. They had 700 of those at that time, which ever since then, they reported, I think last year, that they took those miners offline and the following S9s that they purchased later on. So on February 21st of 2018, they purchased some more S9s. They purchased a total of 6,800 of those miners. But since then, those miners have been taken offline back last year because obviously the mining profitability wasn't just there for it anymore. Then in December of 2019, they announced that they were buying 3,000 of the Antminer S17 Pros. So those were generating currently at our price, at difficulty in the current Bitcoin price, they're generating about $22.65 a day gross profit. So that doesn't take into account for any of the obvious electricity, anything like that, any operating expenses, anything like that. This is just pure gross profit. Then on December 12th of 2019, they announced that they bought another 1,000 of those S17 Pro miners, and those are making as well $22.65 a day. So based on that information, we found a daily total for the amount of miners. They're making about 67,000 on the first batch, 22,000 on the second batch, for a monthly total of almost $2.7 million. And then, so MO in this line here, this is the amount of months that those are in operation. So later on, as we go down the list, you're going to see that the number is going to decline because those miners haven't come online yet. So right now we're estimating that those are going to be online for 12 months. Then in April of 2029, in 2020, they bought some S19 miners. Those are mining at 110, was that gigahash? Or no, terahash. Those are at 110 terahash per second, and they bought 1,000 of those miners, and those miners are making $40.34 for an estimated monthly revenue of 1.2 million. Then in May 6, 2020, they announced another 1,040 of those S19 miners, but those were mining at 90 terahash instead of the 100, so those were a little bit slower. So those were making $34.56 a day for a total of almost 1.1 million a month. Then in June 2nd, 2020, they announced another purchase of the S19 miners. These were also mining at 110 terahash, and those are coming up at $40.34 per day and 1.2 million a month. On August 12th, 2020, they announced the purchase of S19 Pros, 8,000 of those, and those are mining obviously 40.34 a day, and for the month it's almost $10 million profit, gross profit. Then on August 25th in 2020, they also announced another purchase of 5,100 of those S19 Pro miners, and those miners are making 6.2 million a month. October 6th, 2020, another purchase of the S19 Pro miners. They purchased 2,500 of those, and those are making about $3 million a month. Then going to December 18th, this is where we start looking into the orders that are going to be online this year sometime. So they bought a total of, what was that total? Total of 15,000 miners, and then this is when they are supposed to be coming online. So we have 1,000 coming online in May sometime, 1,000 again in June, 1,000 in July, 2,000 in August, 4,000 in October, is that right? September, and then 4,000 in, let's see here, September, and then the 6,000 coming online in October. So based on that information, I was calculating if those actually came online, say in May. So I wasn't counting May in there, which is right here. So I wasn't counting May, I was counting June, July, August, all the way through the end of the year. So I calculated for 7 months here, 6 months here, 5 months here, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 2 in operations. And based on those figures, we were able to figure out what the yearly total was going to be based on how many months those were in operation. So those miners were respectively making a month of 1.2 million, 1.2, 1.2, 2.3, 4.6, and almost 6.7 million per month. So then we can calculate how many months they're in operation. We can figure out how much they're making a year. Then in March 15th of 2021, they announced the S19J miners, which mine at 90 terahash. So those were making $33 a day per miner, which came out to be 1.5 million. And then in April 15th, they announced a huge purchase of the S19J miners, which totaled, what was it, 42,000 miners, I believe? Yep, 42,000 miners that were going to be installed in the coming months, starting with, what was this? Starting in November of this year, going all the way through October of next year. So we know if those come online in November, they'll be probably mining in December. So I put down 1 month of mining for this year for those. And then the rest of those I left blank because they're just not going to be mining this year. So we're looking at what the mining potential is for this year. All right, so based on those numbers, we're looking at a total of $373,185,555 gross mining profit potential if the price of Bitcoin stays at the current price. So at that current price, the EPS per share would be at 4.4. You guys can see it here. Let me pull that up. Okay. Would be 4.4. And if we use a price to earnings multiple of 20, the stock price should be at around 88.70 at gross profit margin. Obviously, there's mining expenses. You got electricity, you got overhead, you got employees, you got purchases that you made. So what I always look at is basically discounting that price about 50% and thinking that's pretty well conservative estimate as far as what the price could be. I don't want to be too optimistic and I don't want to be too pessimistic, so I think a 50% price cut from there is pretty good. So if we look at Bitcoin, if Bitcoin increases X in price, so 2X price would be, Bitcoin would be at about, what is it now, 90,000 or so. We'll have a look in here. But these numbers here are just for gross profit without the 50% discount. And then these numbers down here in the red are the actual prices with the 50% discount. So currently Bitcoin price is at $48,491. Earnings per share, 50% discount is at 2.22. And then the price to earnings multiple of 20 would make the price 44.35. So in my opinion, I think the price right now of the share price is undervalued. I think we obviously can still go up another $10 to be at fair, I would think, fair market value for it. That would represent a stock price increase of 29% from where it is right now, and would give a market cap of $3.7 billion based on the information that Microsoft here is providing me for the shares outstanding in the current company right now. So if the price of Bitcoin increases 2x from where it is now, so that would be $96,982, meaning their net income with the 50% discount would be at $373 million. That would give us a EPS of $4.44, or a price to earnings multiple with 20 would give us a share price of $88.70. Obviously, that would be an increase of 158% from where we are today, and the market cap would be at around $7.5 billion. Bitcoin goes up 3x this year still to about 150,000 or 145,000 that I calculated. Their estimated net income at 50% discount from the gross profit would be at $559 million. EPS would be obviously 6.65 per share, and the price to earnings multiple of using just 20 would be 133. Obviously, we can go up higher from that or lower depending on where the PE ratio is. And that would represent a 288% increase in the stock price. And then finally, if we reach $200,000 this year, which would be a 4x, their estimated net income would be around $746 million with an EPS of 8.87, and their price to earnings at 20 multiple would be $177 for the stock, representing 417% increase in the stock price. So obviously, this is kind of where I'm looking to see where we land with Mara right now. If these numbers hold true, and also if they obviously get all these miners in when they're saying they're getting those in. Obviously, there's a lot of challenges with the shipping right now. Shipping containers are in tight supply. Ports are kind of squeezed right now for capacity. So things may get delayed, but this is just like the best estimate I can come up with. So if things hold true, this is where I think we could be with the price of Bitcoin, or with the price of Mara, if the price of Bitcoin obviously goes 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x. This is not financial advice, folks. Do your own research. This is just my best estimate of where the price could be on the shares currently that are outstanding. Things can change. Things can obviously, they could dilute the shares a little bit more going forward, so we'll have to adjust it going forward as well. But yeah, I mean, it looks like we have a good upside potential in Mara if you're a believer that Bitcoin is going to go up from here. And if you're a long-term holder, I think you'll do fine. But yeah, do your own research. This is just my own research and hoping to provide some useful content for you guys here. So let me know what you think. If my estimates are way off, or you thinking that I'm completely insane as far as if the price of Bitcoin goes up to 200,000 and their stock is at $177 compared to where it is now. So let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And then let me know also, I've been thinking about if you guys would find these Excel sheets useful if I put them on like Patreon or something like that, where you guys could help support me, and then you guys would also have access to this information in the comments down below. I do appreciate you guys watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, bye.